Well, the garden is finally starting to produce some things, so I need to get some things harvested. Try to get it done before the sun comes up and it gets too hot. Hey guys, welcome back to another Slightly Rednecked video. Again, my name's Chris. If you're not familiar with this channel, I help you to produce your own meat, eggs, and vegetables from your backyard, your balcony, your deck, your garage, or even a spare room in your house if that's the way you want to do it. And I'm working in the garden today. Yesterday took the day off, went fishing with the wife. We hit one of the local creeks around here. Fishing was a little bit slow, but we had a really good time. But unfortunately that means that I got to cram all my chores I would normally get done on the weekend into one day. So what I'm going to try to do is get, the green beans are ready to harvest. I've got some jalapenos back there that are ready to harvest. Cucumbers, definitely going to have some of those ready to harvest, and maybe even some okra. So I'm going to go through here and try to get this stuff harvested real quick before the sun comes up, before it gets hot, before church. And then I've already got at least enough green beans here to can up 2 or 3 cans probably. Well, probably 2 cans. So it's not a huge harvest, but I need to get it processed, so I'll do that when I get back from church. That's the plan anyway. We'll see how it goes. So I need to get this stuff harvested. I think I planted too many cucumbers over here. It's like an Easter egg hunt to find them all, but boy, they're doing great right now. And I'm sure no matter how closely I look, I'm gonna miss 1 or 2, and then I'm gonna come out here tomorrow and the next day and they're gonna be that big already. That's what always happens. All right, I want to show you something I'm dealing with here. This is summer squash. I've got zucchini right here, summer squash right here. And this plant right here in particular looked beautiful yesterday, up until about yesterday morning anyway, whenever I left the house. It looked just like these, nice, big, lush, everything's going great. And then I come home and boom, here it is. So this is most likely the work of vine borers, squash vine borers. They're a moth. I'm looking over the plants. I'm not seeing any eggs, but at this point it's probably too late anyway. Too late definitely for this plant right here. I do see what looks like maybe some vine borer damage on some of these. Let me bring you in a little bit close. I'll show you what I'm talking about. All right, so the way the vine borer works is, it's a moth. It comes and lays its eggs at the base of the plant like this, and then the larva will dig into the plant. And you'll quite often see what looks like sawdust, little sawdust marks right here. So there's probably a vine borer larva right inside there. We're gonna try to cut it open and see. Now, if you catch this early enough, if you notice this kind of damage on there, you can a lot of the times cut that open, get the borers out of there, and sometimes save the plant. This one's way too far gone. I'm not seeing the grub though. This plant's already dead, so I'm not gonna worry. I'm just gonna cut it open, see what we can find inside. There they are, right there. You can see them. Maybe you can see them. I think I cut that one well. There's another one right there. Oh, let's get that out of there. He's a little cut up, but they're basically a little grub. So you kind of get the idea of what we're talking about here. Again, if it's if you catch it early enough, I'm gonna get these out of here. I don't want these in my garden. So, because they will overwinter in the soil. So this one's gone, no saving this plant. Now I can check my other ones. If I see those spots, I might be able to cut those borers out, pull them out, and the plants might live. But that's really tricky to do. All right, now other ways you can control vine borers is really just to try to prevent them. I know that there were vine borers on these squash here this year. I think I planted them in the same spot last year. I should have rotated them. I should have put them somewhere else so the vine borers, if they were overwintering in the soil, they weren't just there automatically. But, that's not always an option. what I usually find is as long as I plant, 2 of each, 2 zucchini, 2 summer squash, I usually get several harvests off of them. And we've been eating a lot of summer squash. So we usually get 2 or 3 harvests off of them easily before the vine borers move in. And that's generally what I do. Is just some years I don't get them so bad. Some years they're a little bit worse. The years that they're worse, I just deal with the harvest that I got. I mean, there's only so much zucchini and summer squash you want to eat anyway. So it's kind of, it's not that big of a deal. And I've still got time now. If I wanted to restart summer squash zucchini, I could do that and probably get another harvest off of them. Other things you can do, parasitic wasps are a great solution. If you're diligent, I never have the time to do this, but if you're diligent, you come out and you check your plants regularly, a lot of times you can spot the eggs down at the base of the plant. There is some belief that if you were to put like aluminum foil around the base of the plant, it would keep the bugs off of them. But if you can find the eggs, scrape them off before they hatch. Like I said, you can sometimes tell, like there's a little sawdust hole in there. You might be able to cut that out just a little bit, pull the grub out, or stick a piece of wire in there and kill the grub so it doesn't kill your plant. You can plant, if you plant more plants, a lot of times they'll target a few of them. They won't get the rest of them. Like my ones down on the end seem to be fine. They don't seem to be affected by them at all. The 2 summer squash right here look like they're starting to get affected. That one was gone, of course. It's too late for that one. I think I'm going to lose this one too. But, that's it. I'm not going to worry about it too much. I've had enough summer squash to... You can't really store that stuff very well anyway, so it's pretty much fresh eating. It's not that big of a loss to me. What else can you do? Oh, if you were to plant these again in a different area of your garden next year, so you don't have the the nymphs that have overwintered in the soil, and you could put floating row covers over them. Usually the vine borer squash isn't a problem until mid to late summer. This is like middle of July, and that's just when they first start hitting. So you really, if you just put a cover over them, a floating row cover, something like that, you'll keep the moths from laying their eggs on them, and therefore you won't have problems with them. So there's a couple of ideas. But anyway, I'm not going to worry about it too much. I'm going to get what I can get out of it and just call it good. Right now I'm going to harvest some jalapenos. Jalapeno plants are doing pretty well. They're not putting on their huge harvest yet, but I got enough for a couple of jars of pickled jalapenos, one of my favorites. So we'll pick the ones that are ready for that and let the others go just a couple more days. And later in the year, I'll let some of these go red. I don't want to let them do that right now, because if I let them go red, the plant wants to quit producing. It figures it's already produced its seed for the year, and it wants to quit producing. So I'm not going to leave too many of these on here to turn red and turn ripe right now. I'm going to go ahead and keep picking. Cantaloupe's doing really, really well. I've got one pretty decent sized cantaloupe. There's a few others starting around the edges here. So that won't be long. That'll be ready to harvest. Well, didn't get a huge bucket, about a half a bucket full of stuff. There's probably enough cucumbers for maybe 1 jar, enough jalapenos for 2 or 3, 4 jars maybe. Could probably do a jar of pickled, what are these called again? Banana peppers, and enough okra probably. Again, 1 jar. In a lot of ways, this is the hardest time of the garden season, because it's like, you're waiting for things to start producing. They start producing, you get just these minimal harvests off of them. But you got to keep up with that. These are barely enough to do anything with. But you've got to keep up with that, because if you don't, then your plants will figure they're done and they'll stop producing. And we're just getting ready to get into the time of abundance, where it's just crazy amounts of stuff coming off here. You can't even use it all up. So that's coming. That won't be very long. We're looking at 3 weeks, maybe a month at the most, and I'm gonna have to be out here every day picking, and I'll probably get at least this much a day off these plants, maybe even more. So, I mean, that's coming. That time is almost here. Anyway, thanks for spending the morning with me, guys. I gotta go get ready for church now, because I'm probably running a little bit behind. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. As always, God bless.